There's a room in every palace that no tourist ever sees. Not the ballroom, not the throne room, a small, quiet room where kings want to think. Before the crown, before the war, before the decision that would define their name in history. Today, I'm taking you inside that room because the truth is, you already have one. You just don't know how to use it yet. Welcome to the Gallery of Kings. Every portrait you see here isn't just history. It's a mirror, because the men and women behind these frames weren't born powerful. They were born exactly like you, uncertain, doubting, ordinary. What separated them wasn't luck. It wasn't money. It wasn't even talent. It was a specific way of thinking, one that almost no one talks about today. And by the end of this video, you will understand the first and most dangerous myth keeping you from ever becoming one of them. Here's the myth that powerful people think about money. They don't. Not first. Anyway, every person who ever built an empire, a business, a fortune, a legacy, started by changing one thing that had nothing to do with money at all: how they saw failure. Most people are taught that failure is proof they're not good enough. So the moment things go wrong, they stop, they retreat. They call it being realistic. But if you study the men who sat on real thrones, who built real empires, you'll notice something strange. They failed more than anyone, not less, more. The difference wasn't the number of failures. It was what failure meant to them. To an ordinary mind, failure is a verdict. To the mind inside this gallery, failure is information, a data point, nothing more. It doesn't ask, am I good enough? It asks, what does this tell me? That single shift from judgment to curiosity is the first wall between where you are now and where you could be. History is full of proof, if you know where to look. Consider the story of a young artillery officer in the late 1700s, unknown, foreign-born mocked for his accent by his own classmates. By any realistic measure, he had no path to power, no noble bloodline, no fortune, no connections. What he had was a mind trained to treat every rejection as a puzzle rather than a wall. Early in his career, he was passed over, reassigned, doubted by superiors. A mind trained in. Judgment would have quit there. Instead, historians note he used those years to study relentlessly military theory, geography, the psychology of leadership, treating each setback as raw material rather than a verdict on his worth. Within a decade, that same unremarkable officer would command armies that redrew the map of an entire continent. The palaces you see in this gallery, the chandeliers, the gold, the marble, that wasn't the starting point. It was a result. And it started in a room much smaller than any of these, a room of thought. So here's the first principle from inside this gallery. And I want you to actually pause and think about this, not just hear it. Ordinary minds ask, what if I fail? Minds built for power ask a completely different question. What will this teach me if I fail? Say that second question out loud right now. Wherever you are, feel how different it sits in your chest compared to the first one. The first question shrinks you. It makes the goal feel dangerous, so you avoid it. The second question expands you. It makes the goal feel like an experiment. And experiments don't have losses, only results. This isn't motivational fluff. It's a mechanical shift in how your brain processes risk. When you reframe failure as data, the part of your brain responsible for fear, the amygdala, quiets down because there's no longer a threat to survive, only information to gather. That's not a metaphor. That's neuroscience wrapped in the language of kings. Right now, watching this, you're standing at a fork most people never even notice. Path 1. You close this video, go back to your day, and nothing changes. Not because you're lazy, but because no one ever showed you there was a different question to ask. That path is comfortable. It's also how 95% of people spend their entire lives, waiting for permission that never comes. Path 2 is quieter, but it's the one every person in this gallery chose. It doesn't require you to quit your job tomorrow or take some reckless leap. It requires one small, repeatable act. The next time something goes wrong today, a rejection, a mistake, a bad result, you ask the second question instead of first. That's it. That's the entire threshold. Kings weren't made in a single dramatic moment. They were made in thousands of small moments, exactly like the one you're about to have today. Here's the twist most people miss when they look at this gallery. These portraits aren't hanging here because these people were special. They're hanging here because they were ordinary people who simply stopped asking the first question. That's the uncomfortable truth, and also the most liberating one. It means a gallery isn't closed. It means there's an empty frame in this room right now, and it's waiting to see whose portrait goes in it next. If this room meant something to you, subscribe, because next time we step into the second principle, the one difference between those who build empires and those who only dream of them. It's darker than this one, and it might be the one you need most. Tell me in the comments, what's the first question you're going to change starting today? I read every single one. Welcome to the Gallery of Kings. Your frame is waiting.